Joining us now, Dr. Roger Parrott, the president of Belhaven University. Dr. Parrott, good afternoon, sir, and thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It's a treat to be with you today.
You bet. Of course, I see you out at the golf course playing a little golf, but it's been some wet golf lately, hasn't it?
It has been, yeah, but any golf is good golf.
That's right. All right, so Belhaven, of course, start for the benefit of our audience, just a little overview of the school.
Yeah, we are about 5,000 students. Most people assume we're a small campus in Jackson. And if you haven't been by the campus in a long time, most of our buildings are new or been renovated, and it's a very, very vibrant campus, but about 1,000 traditional students, and then about 2,500 who are going online or in our evening program, and then about 2,000 graduate students either online or in the evening program as well, including 2 doctorates, one in education and one in business, our newest one in business.
Yeah. And was part of a little committee that met with you not too long ago and discussed this, but a lot of stuff moving at the university and in a positive way.
We really are. We've had in fact, we've had our single best year ever during COVID, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
Our best enrollment and financially our best year. And some innovative programs. We've got an MBA in China. We've got a new MBA that we're doing with Global Silicon Valley Labs, which is for entrepreneurs, which is a fabulous degree for somebody who wants to start their own business.
Yeah.
We're well known in the arts. We're one of only 30 schools in America nationally accredited in all 4 of the major arts: music, theater, visual art, and dance. And so we work at very high levels in the arts and the STEM arena, so it's a great place to be. I love it.
Let's talk about the master's degrees. You know, when I was going to school, that was kind of a small percentage, I think, of students. Most just thought, let's get a bachelor's degree and go to work, move on. That seems to be a lot more common, does it not? That folks are starting to pursue or continue to pursue their education by going into master's degrees programs.
I think there's been a dramatic shift, and it's driven by not just the schools, it's driven by the employers.
Okay.
The employers are wanting a master's degree, and unfortunately, I think the master's is going to be the new undergraduate degree. It's almost going to be expected. And, I think we have, in high school, we're pushing things down. We're pushing college into the high school level with dual enrollment, and then college gets pushed down, so the master's comes in and takes its place. It's probably not the best for education overall, but the market is what the market is. But employers want this degree, and so students are driven to it. A lot of them need that degree, and a lot of them make a mistake by going that direction.
Yeah.
And so it's try to help students make a wise decision about do they need a master's or not.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And, back in my day, it's that, well, do you have the job you want? Yeah, okay, well, get out of here,
yeah.
Sort of deal. But now you're right. There are certainly select employers that's becoming the minimum, whereas the bachelor's used to be the minimum.
Correct.
I think you're right that's replaced it. So it would seem that one concern there would be, is it sort of diluting the value of a master's degree?
I'm not sure it's diluting the value. It's just raising the standard across the board. More education is always better than less education.
Sure.
Now, you don't have to have a degree to have it be educated.
Right.
You could learn everything in my doctoral program on your own if you had the discipline and the mentoring and the pushing to do it. But nobody does that.
Yeah.
So it's more of a expectation of just a breadth of education, because education at the high school level through the college is not as deep as it used to be, and so graduate degrees have become more the standard.
Yeah.
One of the unique things I did with COVID coming last summer, I was afraid students wouldn't show up. And so we did something unique, and we told students last summer, if you came and enrolled last fall and you stayed and graduated, we would give you a free master's degree.
Wow.
And it went so well, we're doing it again this year. So students who come this fall and enroll as a freshman or transfer, as long as transfers take 60 hours, can take any one of our online master's degrees for free, and they can do it whenever. They can do it right after they graduate from Belhaven. They can do it 5 years later, 20 years later. We don't care.
Wow.
And so it's a nice option because, the master's degree is somewhere between, $12,000, $13,000 and $25,000. We try to keep our prices low, and it really is a nice option. But we're the only school in America doing that, so you can't get that deal anyplace else.
That's a great idea. I know you're a great marketeer of education, which is important because it's a competitive world.
It really is. It is a competitive world. And I think that's why the master's degrees become so important, because it gets to a level of specialization and detail that you're not getting at the undergraduate level.
Yeah.
And that's why we offer a breadth of masters.
Yeah.
And because everybody wants something different. And it changes over time. I'm seeing a lot more people coming with 2 or 3 masters who are applying for jobs than I've ever seen before. And I remember when my grandfather was a college president, he had a master's degree, and they thought that was huge that the college president had a master's degree back in the 1920s. So, life has just changed and education changes. Again, more is better than less, but people need to make wise choices about it, or they can get in trouble with borrowing too much money for a master's degree, and then they make a poor decision that puts them in worse shape than if they'd done the degree.
Well, I think that's a good segue to the discussion of placement. What about placement of your graduates, in particular those that are pursuing their master's degrees? How are you guys doing there?
Well, yeah, we track that very carefully in education, and we place everybody in education. Most of the people coming for a master's degree are already in the business world, though. Yeah. So they're having to do that in order to get promoted and work up within their business relationship, whatever that is. And so it's not a matter of the old days of, they graduate, let's go find a job.
I got you.
It's kind of an undergraduate thing more so than the master's degree.
And that perhaps sort of dovetails into the discussion that I know something you are keeping an eye on, and we've talked about before, which is the traditional sort of linear degree relative to some of these specialized sort of certifications. So we're seeing, I know in my industry, in the IT industry, almost all the major makers of the technology that we all use, and a lot of that's behind the scenes we don't know anything about. All of those companies had to sort of create their own education departments.
They did.
Which is a function of augmenting the basic college education to a great extent, and really diving into highly specialized content and training, sometimes and often just related to specific technology, specific devices, even specific wares. Not really something that would be practical at the college level, but I know we're seeing a lot of that, and did in my industry, where that was a high degree of focus. We wanted the college degree a lot, and a great reason for that is because folks that got their degree and went to college, for the most part, they've completed something. And so that it just shows their ability to start and finish something, which is critical, I think, to succeeding out in the business world.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of college, because unfortunately, so many students don't complete in America, and that's part of the debt problem, is they don't complete.
Yeah.
If they complete, it shows something, and it also teaches them to understand how to learn, not just what to learn. Yeah. And that's what we want to do. And then, yes, there are those specializations. I love certificates. I think they're fabulous. Yeah. I was at a conference many years ago, and somebody said, imagine you're going to hire somebody to run your IT department. You got 2 choices. One of your graduates in computer science, or one who didn't graduate but is Microsoft certified in 25 areas. Which one are you going to hire? And every college president hand went up. I'm taking a certified person. Certifications are great, especially in technical areas, and we do. Right. We have a certification in coding, and we do a few other things because we like certifications. Yeah. But yeah, it's. I think students need to understand where they want to go, and that's why they get in trouble with masters. So many just want to get a master's. They don't know really what they want to do with it. And if they know what they want to do with it, then they can have a purpose behind the master's. And the learning's so much more engaging if you have a purpose for the learning.
Totally
and
true.
That's where we want to help students go.
But you made a statement that honestly I've used in many of my speaking engagements, that the most important takeaway from going to college is learning how to learn, because the content often you learn, it may not have a very long shelf life after you learn it, but learning how to learn, because there's always new material, new content, new facts.
Exactly. Yeah, my wife teaches literature at Belhaven, and she loves Shakespeare. She loves the Greeks and all this. And I tell her often, the number one job of a literature teacher should be to teach them to love literature.
Absolutely.
To love literature.
Yeah.
What you don't want is a student to go through a literature class, get all the way to the end, and go, well, I don't have to do that again. That's over.
Yeah.
No, it's opening up their mind to a broader world, and that's what education should be.
I totally agree. Well, I know you guys do a great job, Dr. Parrott. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you on the show today. Come back and see us.
It's a treat to be here. Thank you so much.
You got it. Dr. Roger Parrott, president of Belhaven University, has been our guest. We'll be right back on the JT Show.